Gillian Keegan, who is the Education Minister, am I right?
Education Secretary. She is indeed, yes.
Secretary, yeah. She says that students risk ruining their life chances if they take part when they're students, for instance, in something to get very upset about and worked up about and passionate about, like Just Stop Oil, for instance. This comes after the Daily Mail disclosed that, for instance, Just Stop Oil's plan to infiltrate Freshers' Week and build up an army of impressionable undergraduates.
OK, well, the Education Secretary is wanting university bosses to warn students of the consequences in engaging in criminal activity, what that could mean for their futures.
Yeah, so in other words, something you might do when you're a passionate young student might rise up and bite you in the bum later on in your career when you maybe want to be taken more seriously in any particular pursuit.
Let's talk to journalist Julie Cook and social political commentator Bushra Shaikh, who join us now. Good to see you this morning. Bushra, what's your take on this? Should students be cobbled by what may happen to them in the future, or should they live for the moment?
Oh, certainly. I think it's really important to advise students on what their future looks like. We know that with Just Stop Oil, they're not about always peaceful protesting. They are a nuisance. They stop people in their tracks. They stop the majority of the British workers getting to the regular places and jobs that they need to get to. People getting to hospitals. It's very dangerous as well. So I think this is very, very important for university campuses to say that, look, you can be part of organisations, but this particular one, they are hell-bent on destroying regular daily lives in Britain. So it's not just them joining a campaign and thinking that they're doing something good. Just Stop Oil need to be stopped a little bit. This is a nuisance, and, we have to admit that.
So, Julie, do you agree? I mean, students should be seriously warned that this could ruin their life chances later.
I think it's important that they're warned because, obviously, what Just Stop Oil does, unfortunately, often results in criminal damage of property and stopping, ambulances getting to places on the street. There were recently some deaths, I believe, because of ambulances stopped getting through. But I do think students have a right to protest. I think it's dangerous if we start telling people that they can't protest about things. I do agree that Just Stop Oil in particular often can lead to sort of more criminal activities, if you like, and they're encouraging people to learn how to be arrested in a peaceful way. But I think if we start to take away our rights to protest, then that is a dangerous, slippery slope.
Yeah, but that in some respects just doesn't work, Julie, does it? Because you can't say, well, you absolutely have a right to protest, but not with them.
Yeah, I think in particular they are known for their particular tactics, aren't they? They're known for sort of criminal damage, throwing things on a Van Gogh painting and standing in the way of the road. And that is obviously leading to inconvenience for the general public. But I think if we are telling young people who at that time of life, let's face it, we were all passionate about something, weren't we? I mean, whether it's back in my day, I think it was trying to get rid of the Conservatives and get the Labour in, but that all went a bit wrong. But the point is, we all have something to protest about as young people. And I think we need to allow people to protest. That is their right, particularly when you're young and passionate and you kind of need a cause.
Yeah, Bushra, isn't that true? You do look for a cause when you're young and passionate about these things. And isn't it wrong that we should legislate against that or even advise against it? We should actually be more grown up and say, OK, everybody's young. You're young once or twice, maybe. You can be forgiven for maybe some of your choices earlier on.
Not at all. I think we're kind of heading to dangerous territory with Just Stop Oil, because peaceful protesting is one thing, but then actually, getting in the way of like we said, for it to become criminal activity is what the key part is here. These are offences that not only, can destroy potentially their future. This is also about the peace and harmony of our community. Just Stop Oil are. For me, this is more about branding. Look, young people know that protesting is their right. We know this is something that we all know. The problem with Just Stop Oil is that, like you said, is the tactics that they use. So I think it is important for campuses to be aware of the difference. And amongst young people, they do speak. My worry is that these things become a trend and the young impressionable ones will be lured on and employed by them to do their work for them, and
All
not
right, look,
telling them that, distraction.
Bushra, I mean, look, you make a very understandable argument. The only thing that struck me then is you say you basically don't do anything which is criminal, don't do anything which is going to be a real nuisance to society, and I just thought, suffragettes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we know that there are campaigns for us that are incredibly important, but we still have to outline those boundaries within those protests. And even if you do talk about suffragettes, if that was to happen today, and even if we use Just Stop Oil as an example, there is boundaries within protesting. So it's important that young people know that, because it can impact their future. And I get that this is a right for us and a right for young people to stand by what they really believe in. But believe me, when it costs you a job or your future, or you have a criminal record, they would wish that they didn't do that.